achieved.
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Studio de Jefre de Quarantine. Today, we will go over, this was the most common thing asked for in yesterday's video. It is bucket hat season. It's always bucket hat season. The most common thing asked for in the video yesterday was the Cowboys schedule and record prediction, which, fine, we'll go through the schedule game by game. I'll give you who's going to win each game, and then the final record at the end. No problem. But there's also one other thing I want to wedge in here if I've got time, which is one thing that needs to change about the Cowboys offense. So stick around for that. Make sure that you're subscribed to the YouTube page, youtube.com/Jeff Kavanaugh, and leave in the comments on this video what you want to talk about tomorrow, and I'll try to take care of you. How about that? Sounds good? Sounds good. All right, let me pull up the old Cowboys schedule here, and we will go through game by game. Now, week one. Cowboys at Rams is going to be their opener. And to me, the Rams are the toughest team to predict. I think I'm a Sean McVay believer, but the Rams are one of those teams that went chasing a Super Bowl, and so now they're not in real great cap shape, and they've got important pieces that they've got to replace. So I believe that I'm a McVay believer. I believe. But they got to kind of put up or shut up this year with a couple of things going against them. So I'm actually going to say the Cowboys win a road game against the Rams to open the season. Now, week two. And now's the time for the disclaimer. I'm going to be wrong on like 9 of these games. They'll win games that I say they're going to lose, and they'll lose games that I say they're going to win. It's going to happen. Cowboys host the Falcons. I think people are going to give that one to the Cowboys because the Falcons haven't been real good the last couple of years. I'm going to do it too, but I will say that any time that the other team has a great quarterback like Matt Ryan, and Matt Ryan's a great quarterback, don't chalk that up as an easy one. I'm going to pick the Cowboys to win, but don't chalk that up as an easy one. Hold on, we got a phone call coming in here. I'm recording my video right now. You're on the video.
Oh, am I on the video?
You're on the video.
What are we going to talk about?
Whatever you want.
Hi. Oh, my goodness. Hi, video.
We're doing the Cowboys schedule and record. What's the Cowboys record going to be? It's Amanda Guerra with us.
Hold on. I got to take my FB out. What was the question?
What's the Cowboys record going to be?
Don't know. Winning.
You're a sports person now.
Yeah, I know that.
12 and 4.
I haven't looked at it. I know there's pessimistic Pat out there.
11 and 5. 10 and 6. 12 and 4. 13 and 3. 9 and 7. 14 and 2. 16 and 0.
12 and 4.
Woo!
11 and 5.
Okay, that's your official prediction. I'll call you back.
Wait.
No, not wait. I got to go.
Do they know it's your birthday month?
It's my birthday month. They do now.
Right.
Bye. Okay. 2-0. Cowboys beat the Falcons. Here's where it gets tough. Cowboys Seahawks. That's the Cowboys' third game. It's at Seattle. I'm not a Seattle believer. I think that if they would free Russell Wilson, they would be a 13-win team every year. And they limit him on purpose because their coaches aren't very smart. That's what I think of Seattle. The run-heavy approach that gets Russ to 3rd and 8 all the time, and then he bails them out. And Dak's had to do some of that in his career too. I think the Cowboys can beat Seattle. I think the Cowboys will beat Seattle. And I don't want to be overly homer. I try not to be a homer. Vegas is usually very close to right. What do they got the Cowboys at? 9.5? So I should probably pick 9 or 10 wins. Cowboys beat the Seahawks in week 3. Then the Cowboys host the Browns. You can beat the Browns. They could lose to the Browns, but they're going to beat the Browns. They're going to beat the Browns. I do want Baker to have a bounce back, though. I'm a Baker guy. I'm hoping for Baker. Less progressive commercials, more remembering that people doubt you. Like, what happened to that Baker? What happened to the Baker with a chip on his shoulder? He turned into the Baker who's taking care of the stadium on commercials, which are great commercials. So this is where I struggle. because Cowboys play the Giants in week 5. That's a win. Home game against the Giants. Week 6, they play the Cardinals at home. That's a win. Then they go on the road and play Washington. That's a win. Only problem with all this is I just got the Cowboys to 7-0. Is that realistic? No, it's not realistic. Game by game, is that the outcome I actually believe? Yes, it is. But are they going to get to 7-0? No. They're not going to get to 7-0. What are you doing, Jeff? Then they go play the Eagles on the road. Could they beat the Eagles on the road? They absolutely could. But I have to call this a loss because I got them at 7-0. So they lose to the Eagles on the road. Then they beat the Steelers at home. You're at 8-1. It's stupid. It's stupid. I'm not a homer, but I've got them at 8-1. Then they go on the road to play the Vikings. Vikings again, another team that's cap screwed. And Mike Zimmer is another coach that doesn't give his offense the best chance to win. But just because I feel like 8-1 is ridiculous, I'm making them lose to the Vikings to go to 8-2. Then you beat Washington. That's 9-2. Then you play the Ravens on the road. You get beat by the Ravens. That's 9-3. Then you play the Bengals. That's 10-3. Then you play the 49ers. You host the 49ers. Cowboys could win that game, but I'm going to say they lose to move to 10-4. Then you host the Eagles, who have already had beat the Cowboys once. I'm calling a split for that. And so that'll be 11-4. And then they go play at the New York Giants, who will be eliminated from the postseason already, so they won't care. And the Cowboys go to 12-4. So going game by game and letting the Vikings beat the Cowboys, letting the Niners beat the Cowboys, I get to 12-4. Now, I'm also going to pull a coward move here. Somebody Jared Sandler do this, and I want to do this too. I'm predicting them to go 10-6. I know. I just went game by game, and I got them to 12-4. I'm predicting them to go 11-5. So I can't change the result of an individual game. 12-4 just seems aggressive. 11-5 kind of seems aggressive. But new coaching staff, when you think the old coaching staff was terrible, which I do, when you had a special teams guy that was a grad assistant basically, and you like everything that they did from a coaching perspective last year, linebacker coach wasn't qualified. Like everything that they did was awful. And so couldn't you, if you think they have a better roster, which I think they might by like that much, and if you think they have a much better coaching staff, which I do, and if you think that Bill Barnwell is onto something when he predicts every year whose record is going to get better and worse by using his Pythagorean theorem, and he's right over 90% of the time. He's going to pick 3 teams going into this year that are going to get better and 3 that are going to get worse from a year ago. And you know what he's going to use? Point differential from the year before, because it works as a predictor. And so for the Cowboys, he's going to pick them to win 10 games, 11 games, and he's right over 90% of the time. So am I willing to bet against that? No. 11-5. It's my official prediction. That doesn't fit with my game by game, but 12 is too aggressive. I'm not going that aggressive. I'm going 11-5. Now, I promised you one thing that the offense needs to change this year. And this I saw on 538.com, a little nerdy thing, and it was an article on what to expect from the top quarterbacks taken in this year's draft. And part of it was about Joe Burrow. I'm getting to how this applies to the Cowboys. Part of it was about Joe Burrow. The only time Joe Burrow was human last year is when he was throwing passes outside the numbers. Like he was an average Power 5 quarterback when he was throwing the ball outside the numbers. Anywhere else on the field, he was, he had the best college football season of all time for a quarterback, so he was great, right? But he was human when he threw outside the numbers. And the article was about, well, the Bengals threw outside the numbers a lot last year, but what I took from this is listen to the teams that threw outside the numbers, so throws way out to the sideline. Listen to who did it the least last year. San Francisco was very last. They only threw to the sideline 46 times in the entire year. That's less than 3 times a game. We think Kyle Shanahan's got something figured out, right? Pretty smart guy. Pretty smart OC there. Baltimore Ravens, 33 points a game. I think that's a pretty good offense. They threw to the sideline 55 times over the course of the season. Washington, probably because they didn't have a quarterback. Tennessee, that offense worked out, didn't it? Team that nobody thought was going to make it anywhere, but then all of a sudden you got Ryan Tannehill in there and Derrick Henry takes off, and woo, looky here, you almost made the Super Bowl. New Orleans Saints, Kansas City Chiefs, 68 and 69 times. You think that Drew Brees and Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid have a good handle on how you should run offense in today's NFL? So the really good offenses aren't thrown to the sideline. Why? I wonder. Oh, because it's the longest throw and because the defender gets a free defender in the form of the sideline. Okay, so we probably shouldn't throw to the sideline very often. We can make more hay everywhere else on the field. Got it. Teams who threw there the most. Seattle Seahawks. God, I hate their offense. Oh, I hate their offense. The LA Rams. The Green Bay Packers. Oh, because they would just throw those little screens to Devontae Adams every play. The Chicago Bears, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Tampa Bay Bucks, who take a ton of chances with the ball, the Dallas Cowboys, the Buffalo Bills, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the New York Giants, the Miami Dolphins. Those are the teams that throw to the sidelines the most. Get the comeback route out of the playbook, Cowboys. Don't throw to the sideline a ton. Like, they had an efficient and a good offense last year. But looking at this and just the teams and where they are and which teams were doing it not much and which teams were doing it a lot has made me focus in on stop throwing to the sidelines, stop giving the defense a free defender, stop making the lowest percentage throws. That doesn't mean never. Sometimes you want to throw a bomb down there. Pew! And sometimes there's an uncovered guy. Pew! You get it out there. But, yeah, the smartest teams are avoiding the sideline because there's more room to operate. And there's no free defenders in the middle of the field. So that was an interesting takeaway that I saw from a 538 article. All right, leave in the comments what you want to talk about tomorrow, and I will take care of you. I love you guys. Be safe out there.